Good morning everyone. Today I'm going to show you how I make my earphone cable wraps. Now the wraps are made from cork and they have a press stud closure. Now I'm going to show you quickly how I go about making them. They're pretty simple. I sell them in my shop, in my Etsy shop and on my website, and they're currently on sale, so pop over and have a look. And they're in a variety of colours. So my evergreen, which is my standard colour, as long as black and off-white. So that is the black. I don't have a off-white one with me, but they also come in other colours such as tropical. All right, so this is what I'm going to show you how to make today. So have my tools. I've already wiped down. I use my trusty Dettol wipes to wipe down, and then I'm going to be making it out of navy blue cork. All right, so the cork comes in a variety of colours, like I've said prior. This one is navy blue. You can see the texture of the cork within it, and then it's backed in a cotton and recycled polyester mix. This makes it super soft. Now, this is the cork that I'll be using. I've already cut to size the cork that I'm going to be using for my earphone cable wraps. So these are the sizes. They are 4 centimetres across by 8 high. That's how big I make them. I'll then cut the edges. So I'll show you that now. So yeah, let's get started. Let's move this stuff to the side. I don't need those at the moment, but I do need these. So each one, I use the guides on my mat so I know everything is square and lined up, as well as my ruler. I do have a square ruler as well that would help with this process, but since the guides are on the mat and I can see them clearly, I use those. So go about just cutting the corners, lining everything up so it's straight. Like so. And then the last one. Okay, and then, excuse the bits on the back, I've used tissue to wipe down to dry the mat, and it's got caught in the mat. So anyway, so I then check that all my corners are even, which they are, and I'm happy with. Now at this stage, before I do anything else, I don't have to do it at this stage, I could do it right when I'm finished. I would then go around the edges with my leather edge paint, and I use a water-based leather edge paint, so I could do it now or at the end. It doesn't matter, because the way this is designed, it doesn't affect when I put it on. So yeah, so the edge paint is simply to finish off the edges. Now, because of the recycled polyester and cotton mix on the back, sometimes I get frayed edges, and I will use my scissors. Now these are fabric scissors, I don't use them for anything else but fabric, and I'd go around and just neaten up the edges. I might even use a lighter sometimes, but I find I get a better finish with my leather edge paint if I've gone round and tidied these up. Now there's hardly anything to do on this one, so I'm just taking extra bits off. There we go. Now I'm not cutting the cork when I do that, I'm just cutting the fabric on the back. So I cut it on a slight of an angle, so a slight angle to make sure that it's just the frayed edges of the cotton and polyester that I'm taking off. All right, so that's that. It's cut to that size, and now I will work out where I want the closure to be. Now, because this is 4 across, on both sides. I'm just going to find the center point on both and then working either a centimetre or a centimetre and a half, depending on which part of the closure it is. So let's get one of these so you can see. So this side, for the bit that you're actually going to see on the front, this is only a centimetre in. This side is a centimetre and a half in. Okay, it doesn't have to be that far in. That's just how I do them, and I like them at that size. It just means that when they close, this comes over, it has a bit of a hangover, and it means they will stand up nicely. They don't have to, because depending on where you put your crease and stuff, it will sit wherever, so it doesn't have to have that hang. But I like it like that because then they stand nicely. I hope you can see that on the camera. And it just keeps them neater, in my opinion. So that's where I've put mine. I've tested them out with them at the same spot, at different spots, with this one at 1 centimetre and this one a centimetre and a half in. This is just where I like it for mine. So if you're making your own, you go ahead and do it however you like, however it works for you and your design. All right, so that's it, done. So now, like I said, I work out a centimetre and a centimetre and a half. And again, I just use the guides. And then I find a pen that will show up on the back of the cork. And I just put a dot. So I found the center point of each. This one is a centimetre in because I've got that line there. So I just put a dot, and it's a small dot that is actually just going to get cut out. So you're never going to see that. And then a centimetre and a half in is here. And again, I could measure that with my ruler. Here we go. Yeah, that's spot on. Centimetre and a half. So there we go. I've made quite a few of these now, so I can pretty much eyeball it. Right, can't sit on the front, it's just on the back. Right, so I try not to put anything on the cork itself. So if I have an accident and slip, whatever, then it's not going to be covered by the hole punch, and I've just ruined it. So take this, cut out. I hope you can see that. So there we go. And I don't cut straight away. I try to make sure that I just put a crease in it so I can make sure that it is being cut in the centre. And we go from there. I give it a wiggle. And then there we go. It's one hole. And I'll do that with the next one. And then cut when you're happy. Okay. And then 2 holes. Excuse the bits on the back. That's from the tissue I use to wipe up, dry the board. And then I will put the holes over each other to make sure they're central, which these 2 are. So even though I've measured it and I haven't cut until I was happy that it was central, that's not always the case, so I double check. Right, so that's that. Those are cut. Let's put the blade away so I don't cut myself with it. So the next bit to do is then put in the closure. Now I think I'm going to use the silver closures on these. So they come in 4 bits. There we go. And then I could use gold, but I think I'll use the silver. But what I need is the setting tool, which I keep in with the gold ones, because I tend to use the gold ones most, is why. I need some wipes for these. So yes, this is it so far. Give these a quick wipe down. These don't need a wipe down, but as soon as I'm wiping down everything else, why not? Okay. I've got bits of tissue all over my board and the kitchen towel I used to wipe up. Just drive me a bit potty. Right, so there we go. That's it. So now what I would do is place these. They're not being secured. Oh, I've got the wrong bits out. Excuse me. They're not being secured. I'm just testing to make sure that they are actually where I want them to be and the spacing is right. So place those and then place this one and this one, just so I can get a feel for it. Do I like it? Yes. Am I happy? Yes. Does it look like the other ones I've done? Yes. So happy. So these are the steps I go through before I set anything in place. I'm happy with that. So move that to the side and then I'll use my mat and I will set it. Now, I don't tend to set it here on my table because it will make too much noise. So give me a moment and I'll come back after I've set it. But let me just give you a quick demonstration without actually setting it of what I would do. So for this end, which is the end you're going to see on the outside, I place this on the flat side of the setting tool, place that down, and then I use this tool, which has got a point at the end, and I'll place that inside this bit here. Okay, so place that in there, and then I'll hammer it in place. So I use my mallet and then I'll hammer that in place. On the other side, I'd flip this over because this has now an indent on the middle. So I have that facing up. I then flip this over so that this side sits on the indent on the base. So fit that in place. And then I use this tool to set it in place. Now this also has an indent in the end, which accommodates the closure here. So they fit together. So everything sits on top of each other and then that gets hammered in place. So I'm going to pop off and do that. And then I'll come back and show you how they're set. Okay. Right, so this is the finished wrap. I've now hammered everything in place as they need to be. So my next job is just to close it and test that everything is in place as I want it. Everything lines up the way it should, which this one does. There we go. And I would just generally test that I can open and close it several times to make sure everything's fine. This will stand as well on its own, which I like, which is why I put the measurements where I put them and so on. So there we go. The edges aren't yet finished on this, but this will be finished in black before it goes out to a customer. There we go. That's it. So open it up inside, you can see so everything's in place. That's fine. So those are the earphone cable wraps. They are available on the website or in the Etsy shop. They're 50% off at the moment in the spring sale, along with lots of other stuff across the shop. If something's not in the sale, it's because it's a newer item that's just been added. But yeah, go out. Well, don't go out. Go pop over and check them out. And yeah, thank you for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.